everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. This is the Wheelchair Repair Council monthly meeting for August. I'm one of the co-chairs, John Slifika from the Department of Aging and Disability Services. Before we get into the meeting, we at this time do technically have to vote on a co-chair or re-elect Maureen, as the case may be. And so in order to do that, I will go ahead and open the floor for nominations for co-chair.
Hey, this is Todd Johnston. I'd like to nominate Maureen to be our co-chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, thank you. All right. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Maureen being reelected as co-chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, welcome back, Maureen.
Thank you.
Maureen, I'm not sure if you heard, but Becky spoke about her computer resetting. Which could be imminent. So we thought we would, for the purposes of that, we would move her up to the top of the agenda and let her go ahead and report first. And then if she gets kicked off, we'll come back to her. But we thought we'd let Becky go first.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for obliging my inconvenience with my IT situation. I only have one case to report this month. And actually, it's from a different provider. It's from Home Health Care Pavilion. And this is the first time that's ever come to me. I've never had a case reported from that particular provider before. And it made me aware that there's another one too at the one out of Agawam, Massachusetts. And so I'm not sure. I'm really happy to be notified of this. And it does sound like this poor person has been suffering for quite some time. And there are a number of issues wrong with his chair at this time as well. So I'm working with his father to try and resolve the matter as quickly as possible and to get some introductions to that program to try and get that resolved as quickly as we can. And I know that it's usually been Diane and Gary who I've been running to for help and for resources, and y'all have been wonderful. But this time I'm under a different predicament. So if y'all have any guidance or any advice, I'd greatly appreciate that. And other than that, though, we have nothing else really to report at OHA. It seems like things are streamlining pretty well. We have everything posted now, the minutes and the agendas, and it's all posted on the Secretary of State site. And as Alexander's been really wonderful with that. And CTN is here today, so we're hosting this meeting. So if anyone has any questions about that, I'm happy to answer those as well. Sheldon? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have on both of your points. Let me respond. First of all, on it's called Home Health Pavilion. That's the other. Okay. My understanding is that Diane had done outreach to the two other companies about having them report the way NSM and New Motion have been reporting. And Diane, am I right that you did that and obviously it hasn't been successful?
NCART reached out, I did not, but NCART, yeah. And can't be accountable for the other companies. I mean, it's up to this committee to make sure they do the proper outreaches and for compliance, and that's all I can advise.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they had.
No, NCART on behalf of the industry, because sometimes think about it, if another competitor is calling you saying, hey, you gotta do, it's not gonna hold as much as versus the association calling them.
Right. So the law that we're operating under says that any CRT provider providing equipment in Connecticut which contracts with DSS under Medicaid is required to do those reports. And as far as I understand, both of them are Medicaid participating providers, so they are not in compliance. And maybe we should make an agenda item about what to do about that, in light of the complaint that Becky has received. Just want to throw that out there. And then the other thing is with regard to Becky, the recordings of these meetings. It's true, CTN is here today, but CTN cannot reliably be here for all the meetings, especially during the session. And it's really important, I think, and I know this has expressed this as well, it's really important that the meetings not only be recorded, but that the recording be readily available to the public. So I was wondering, do we have a plan for when CTN is not going to be covering it, which is, again, we don't know when, we find out, shortly before they're not going to cover it.
Right, I believe we discussed that at our last meeting where the council is actually going to look into creating their own YouTube channel possibly, because the Secretary of State's website and the people I've spoken to at the Secretary of State site have advised that it's for us to put up this recording is not viable really, especially because it's protected to the invitees only, and there's coding issues, there's a whole bunch of different issues. So as far as us posting this for a universal meeting for everyone to view, unfortunately we don't have that accessibility through our department. However, I do know that I know that some members here have discussed, and I know Maryann is one of them who has some YouTube channel experience. I don't know anyone else here who does, but I know, for instance, that you do, as this has been brought to my attention, and I think you've talked to me about it as well, that if the council wants to get their own YouTube channel, they definitely can do that. And we can put that on the site that you can view it on the YouTube channel if you all decide to do that. We're obviously don't have a YouTube channel accessibility with our department. I know we've had discussions about that as well, Sheldon. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's more the council's issue here. We definitely are recording this. We have accessibility. There's a transcript being made of the recordings. However, we don't have a way to post that on the Secretary of State site. We didn't explore that. It's not a viable option.
Right, that I understood that, but on your web, assuming when we say the council, I'm not sure because the council doesn't really have, we have staffing thankfully to Alexandra, but assuming the council has, as you put it, has its own YouTube channel, you will be able to at least put on your website, OHA's website, to get, something like language like to see the recordings of the meetings go to X.
That's exactly what we're doing, yes. Yeah. And we're actually putting that language together now for our IT department, for them to put something on our website. And I'm working with them on that language where they can say too that if you want to go ahead and review all of the minutes of the meetings and the agendas, you can go to the Secretary of State site. So we're in the process of doing that at this time.
No, but the Secretary of State site won't solve the problem.
I understand that. As far as the we don't have a location right now for them to see the minutes. So or the videos rather, right? So until that process is discussed and kind of worked through with, I do believe it's more of a council issue. It's not necessarily OHOT. We are administrating the minutes and taking down the other aspects of it, but it wouldn't be us who'd be posting it to a YouTube channel. So, but if there was to be a YouTube channel, or if there was a site that this was going to be televised other than CTN, we would be capable of putting that on our website at OHOT to link to this section to go see it at this certain spot, or to add that in the language of what we're going to already write up to put to the Secretary of State site to be able to read the minutes and the agendas.
Okay, so in other words, once the council has hopefully this YouTube channel where the recordings will all be, OHA's website will say, go to the Secretary of State website for some information and also go to this place for information to get those recordings.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Maureen, I think you had your hand up.
I did. I think Sheldon asked the same question that I had. I do. You said it's a coding issue, so I don't understand if there's a coding issue that's for the website, but not YouTube. I'm just wondering why. I'm trying to think how the council is going to handle the YouTube channel.
right? I'm trying to answer the best I can with the knowledge that I have based on these IT issues. So I do know, so through our department, we don't have IT in-house, so we have to contract with IT. So as far as the coding, they're the ones that are going to code our specific site to say these are where you can find the information about the council, right? And as far as what's happening with these particular meetings, the way that they're put out to the public is that you have to be invited in, basically, right, to be able to watch these meetings here in the council. Anyone can link to it if they have the invite, they can link in and we admit them into the meetings, and they are public meetings, so the public can come to these meetings. However, to distribute them later on, there is an issue because they are the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut Teams meetings, right? So you need a code. It's just much more complicated than we originally expected. And the Secretary of State's site advised, and FOIA and all, they all said that it would be best if it was coming from the council and not from OHA, because we are just the administrators, we're not actually the council. So it's the council's responsibility to kind of create that stream of how those meetings are going to be publicized, and it wouldn't be going through OHA. And we tried to use this as a resource to use these Teams meetings. However, because of the complexities of the internal processing behind it, we are unable to at this time. So that's why they advise that the council come up with a resource other than CTN if CTN is not able to publicize the meetings on those dates. For instance, like we talked about, is a YouTube channel, or if there's another way to do it, or if there's another systematic approach that you decide to take. But I think as a council, that's going to have to come from the council as a whole, and it's not just OHA because we're the administrators. So,
but then the council as a whole cannot manage a video or a YouTube channel, so it's going to fall on one or two people. I don't, personally, because I'm not a state worker, I don't feel comfortable doing that, and I don't feel comfortable just handing it over to John either. I'm just wondering, like, if you're the council, so as a member or administrator of the council, why you can't do the channel? Or
again, I think you'd have to talk more to Kathy about that.
Talk offline.
Yes, I think it's an offline discussion. We've had numerous discussions about this, and unfortunately, that's just not something that we're able to take on. We're able to take on the minutes, the agendas, the making sure everyone has notice and getting the data out there and all. But that's just not something that we have capacity to do. That wasn't something that was chatted about in the forefront. So that's more of an offline discussion, and that would be something that you'd have to discuss with Kathy, our healthcare advocate.
Well, I disagree. I mean, that was one of our first, the first things we talked about when moving over to OHA. But I don't know if anyone else, I'm not moderating this section, but if anyone else has ideas or whatever, we can,
yeah, we just don't have the means, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the IT, we don't have the structure, we don't have all those things. We have no problem publicizing it if something else happens, like where you do come up with a YouTube channel or something along those lines, or you come up with another way. We have no problem putting the resources out there, this is where you can link to it. However, that's just not something that we have the capacity to do in-house.
And I don't know, John. Oh, I'm sorry, John. I don't know how you would feel, or maybe we'll talk offline about that too, about handling the YouTube channel.
That would be inappropriate for me to do that because my agency doesn't house the group.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be appropriate. Yeah, it wouldn't be appropriate to be done through my agency.
And I don't know. I mean, the advocates could take it over, but I don't know. I don't feel. We'll talk offline. Okay.
Yeah, even FOIA, when I researched it with FOIA in the Department of FOIA for the state of Connecticut, they also said that it shouldn't be through OHA. So it definitely needs to go through the council. So these are discussions, like I said, we can have offline. offline, but we've done our due diligence, we've done a lot of research on this end, and it's just something that we cannot do. It shouldn't be coming through OHA, it should be coming through the council. So we have no problem publicizing it or adding it to the distribution lists or anything like that, but we just can't create it or run it or do it. And we've been advised on different numerous levels through the Secretary of State site and also through FOIA.
Okay, Maryann, you had your hand up?
If the council does get a YouTube channel, would OHA be able to email or send a copy of the recording of the meetings? Or would the council have to record their own meetings?
Council will definitely be recording our own meetings. We have our meetings here, so we're going to continue to do this the way we are through Teams. However, if there was a publicized additional link that we could add, I don't believe that we'd have a problem with that. I have to go back and speak, obviously, with Kathy, but I don't see why that would be an issue. Why we couldn't link or send a resource, through our website saying you can link to this page to view the YouTube channel if it's created or whatever.
I'm not talking about the YouTube channel. I'm talking about this video, this recording right here. Would that be able to be sent to the person? No.
No.
So then the council, whoever is in charge for the council to record and the YouTube channel would have to do their own recording.
Correct.
Got it.
Sheldon?
Yeah, we'll just have to take this offline, but there's something wrong here. The statute provides that the Office of the Post-Chair Advocate is supposed to administer this council. And just the suggestion that some advocates should run it or something is totally inappropriate. This council set up by state law, and the OHA is supposed to administer it. So if OHA can't even upload the recording to YouTube, you're not doing the administration. We'll talk offline and.
Yeah, there's real reasons why. I mean, there's technical reasons why. There's protected reasons why. So this meeting is for us, but like I said, we've had a lot of discussions offline already, and I'm more than happy to have more. But unfortunately, this isn't something that we're capable of doing. So I understand that it's a public meeting, and public are more than welcome to attend this meeting if they want to. However, I know we've had lots of discussions about us having our YouTube channel carry these meetings, and we can't. We've had those discussions offline and also here. I brought that back, and unfortunately, there's just no way at this time that we can do that. So.
Right, this small ask, though, is much smaller than that, and we've already had those long discussions, right? It's a very small ask that the administrator would simply, after it's recorded, after the meeting happens, just upload it to the YouTube channel that's created for this council. So we should talk offline, because if OHA can't do that, I think it's inconsistent with the state law. We'll talk offline. Thank you.
Yeah, with this program, with Teams, we just can't. It just doesn't work. And like I said, Secretary of State's office and FOIA both said that it wouldn't be applicable. So definitely we'll take it offline and we'll have another discussion about it. But unfortunately, that's the outcome right now.
Farrah, you had your hand up?
I did, and I got brain fog and forgot what I was going to ask. So when I remember, I'll put my hand back up.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Joe?
Thank you so much. Becky, my question was, since this is a meeting open to the public, where can the view-only link for this, like the non-participatory link for this meeting, for the public to be found for folks who want to?
They can go to the Secretary of State site and they can find the agenda, and on every agenda there's a link to this meeting. So, and we do have our wheelchair repair council, advisory council now. It's a separate entity, and we created that. Alexander and I worked behind the scenes and created that for Secretary of State site. So it's no longer under a law. It's a separate entity. So that definitely exists here. So that's something that we've been looking, because we want to, the most important thing is to separate these two things, because they are, the Wheelchair Advisory Council is its own entity, right? And it's really, really important that it is distinguished in that way. So what we have done is we've listed the sign in there, so anyone can go there anytime to be able to sign in. So
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
all right, sure. Thanks, Farrah, for that question.
Joe, go ahead.
Sorry about that, I had unmuted myself. You had mentioned it was, you couldn't do it on this platform, if we went back to using Zoom, so would you be able to do it there, or is it related to Teams?
That's a great question, Joe. I don't know the answer to that. So
I was just gonna ask that question.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Sorry about that. They're doing lawn maintenance and I can't hear. I want to go back to the other question about, or the other thing about Home Health Pavilion. So if anyone else has questions, I guess, about the YouTube or the video, you can raise your hands. But yeah, so I just wanted to see about what we should do about getting data from them, or should we make a concerted effort, or they've been asked to get the data as part of the statute. This again would be the council would have to follow up, and so that would probably be John and myself sending a letter. I don't know what, if Diane's brought this up many times, that it's not fair that they're highlighted and other two companies are not, but I just, I don't know if we wanted to have a discussion about that or not. And I'm sorry, my camera is shut off. I shut it off for a second and it won't go back on.
From my standpoint, if, obviously if Diane's company and my company are being held to the standard, everybody should be. And there's one other, Diane, I believe there's one other provider in the state besides Home Health Pavilion, and neither have, acted in a way like they want to participate.
Right, that's my understanding from Diane, that NCART had reached out to Home Health Pavilion in Agawam, and they refused, and we haven't done any, much beyond that. But seeing that we have an issue, it just, I don't know, it feels irresponsible not to follow up.
And they're much smaller companies. It should be easier for them to find the data.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking too. It should be fewer repairs, and it should be really easy to get that to us. And also to make sure that they're letting their customers know about the law as well.
Gary and Diane, do you have a sense of what their collective market share is in Connecticut? I'm just curious.
Very small.
Yeah. Not that bad.
Agawam's going to be one corner of the state there, and then Home Pavilion.
They do some Home Health Pavilion does work in New York as well. So
yeah. So you got one that's doing both of them do both states, just like we do, but their percentages are going to be smaller.
Okay. Sheldon, go ahead, please.
Yeah, though they are small, I agree with Gary, and maybe just Maureen said a letter from the co-chairs of the council, assuming everybody agrees with this, or we vote, I guess we have to, but a letter that just cites the law. It's really clear. You both participate in Medicaid and in Connecticut, and therefore you're subject to this reporting requirement. The other companies have been doing it for 2 years, and you're required to do it as well. Please start doing it. Maybe give them a deadline or something.
And then I guess we would have them give the data to Alex agenda item to quickly, if anyone has issue or questions, or I don't know, are we inviting them to the meeting, or do we invite them if we have an issue with it or a question on the data, or like, I don't know, I guess we can kind of figure it as we go.
It seems to me that we would invite them as guests. I mean, much like Gary was initially before Gary Fisher got appointed, we would invite them as guests because the data only goes so far, right? So if there's nobody there to speak to the data, then it's just numbers on a page.
I would put the letter would include that indication. But the letter has two things. One is, we need you to produce the data. Please start producing in 5 seconds such a day. Here's the form, by the way, because that form is the way that NSM and New Motion report. Here's the form for doing that. So this is how it works. And then the second thing is your idea of the invite to as a guest come. It's a public meeting anyway, but we would invite you to come and speak or answer questions or whatever. Something like that.
Okay, so I guess, are we gonna move forward with that, or should we vote?
I think if an action is being taken on behalf of the council, even if it's just by the co-chairs, it should be voted on.
I don't think it's necessary for a vote, because by law on the bill, we should be enforcing it, period. That's the purpose of the council.
Fair enough. Sheldon, do you agree with that as an attorney?
I don't know. I mean, I agree with Diane, except that it is sort of like, you're also right, John, that sort of like that's the way the council does things. We move, usually there's a motion to do something, and the second,
right.
And then there's a vote, and maybe it's unanimous, but whatever.
Should we agree? I mean, obviously there's going to be some detail in this letter. Should we agree on a date by which we should ask them to report by?
You should be able to do 30, 45 days if you want.
So say by like October 1 or like that, if we get it out quickly.
I would say that's fair. Yeah.
And would we be asking for just data moving forward, anything retroactive? They might not be able to get it, although they're required to, but
I know that they haven't been, so it's going to take, realistically, they're going to get the form, this is how we have, and it's going to take them a bit of time. But,
I forgot about the form. Yeah.
Not ready.
Yeah. Okay, we can work on that.
And like I said, it should not be a huge lift for them. The very small companies, their data is not as broad, and they're not dealing with systems like Diane and I are trying to extract, this much data out of this much database.
Joe, go ahead.
This is a little bit off topic, but you guys were talking about the form, and Gary and Diane, would you guys be opposed if we kind of reconstructed that form? Because it really does not explain the data. I mean, you guys, you can have repairs that are outstanding, you have repairs that are, that have the wrong parts that were reordered. It really doesn't explain that. Like I said, it's just numbers on a paper. It always shows, 98%, 98%, or whatever it may be. But, Gary, you I'm sure, you've been in the hot seat many a times about the data on the sheets there. And it really, and we shouldn't need to have, like, Diane does a great job, but she shouldn't need to explain the data and why you should be able to look at the data and understand it without an explanation. So, I mean, I don't know if that should be a future thing that we work on, but maybe trying to set up the data form in a way that, doesn't need an explanation.
Joe, I would vote in favor of that. I think the data as it's being presented has a lot of noise in it just because it's not a linear process. And there are different starting points and stopping points on every order. And the way this looks at the data, it doesn't account for some of that. And I know we take out, the time for us to order the product, and we take out the time for authorization, but I think there's still a lot of noise in this data. I was gonna discuss that when I give my report for this month, but I don't think it reflects the reality of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. You have like the beginning and the end product, and it doesn't show any of the noise in between. And I don't know how we would come up with a better format or anything like that. It's just throwing it out there that if there's a way that we can possibly figure out a better tracking system.
I'm happy to go back, and maybe Diane and I and that other members of the council can talk about it offline and figure out a better way to report it. But this has been in the act, right? This form, in order to change the form, wouldn't we have to do something legislatively? I know that sounds, but isn't this the approved form?
Yeah, but that's what the language is set up to that, and that's what I just put in the chat, because that's part of the problem. We had to do the numbers in accordance to what was outlined in the bill.
Okay.
But for example, we're now doing about 24-25% of our orders in one stop, where we actually do the evaluation and complete the order all in the same step, and it doesn't exactly show that way in here. But and on the other end, it just like I said, there's just noise in the numbers, and it's not always apples to apples.
All right, it's 11:37. We got a couple other reports to go, so I want to make sure we keep the agenda moving. Go ahead, Todd. You're on mute, Todd.
Just a thought with that letter going out, that's being created by the council to those other two DME companies in Connecticut. Besides stating the law, you should send them a copy of the law. Don't have them go search for it. Let them know what they need to report. And that, it's the law. You want to do business in Connecticut, here you go. I think you should make them aware of it and have it sent to them.
Maureen?
The form, it is based on the statute. We can add to it. We wouldn't need any legislation to add to that form, but we just, when it was created, and Jonathan Sigworth created at least the skeleton of it and worked with, I think, Diane and Sheldon, but we can, we want to make sure all the data is there, but if there's a better way to read it, or I don't know, because it's hard to quantify the noise, so I don't know how how we would do it, but yeah, we can add to it, but we just need to make sure that we keep the bare bones.
The only advantage to keeping it consistent is that you can trend off the same points, right? You're trending off a consistent set of data. I don't know. This is a conversation that's bigger than the time we have here, so we can.
Sheldon, go ahead.
Yeah, I raised my hand to say the same thing Maureen said, but I do want to clarify that the statute doesn't say there shall be a form. The statute says here's the data that must be reported, and the work mostly done by Jonathan was to have a way of producing it. But you could add, as Maureen said, you could include all that information because that's required by statute, and then additional information, and you can make it uniform. So basically all, including the other two, where we're going to be writing the letter to, so that this is all the information to report, and therefore Joe's point about there's some stuff that's kind of missing in there. Certainly we could agree on how to add that to it.
I have a question, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
The question is, and I asked Gary this the other day, and I don't know if you're up to this, but I want to make sure it's out there. And Diane, this is for you too. Gary, I talked to you about the data on if you're giving the law out for the people that you serve. Do you have that data for me?
I do not have. We are in the process. It should be on our website right now. We are programming so that it's tough because we deal with 48 different states right now. So our system is set up just to spit out a certain set of documents for each order. We're having to program it so that in Connecticut, if there's a Connecticut zip code, it includes that other form, notification of the bill. We are in the process. I don't know that it's out there right yet. It was supposed to be out there, but I promise by the end of August it will be. So, and then I will be able to give you the data that says we're 100% compliant with that notification.
Diane, the same question to you, please.
We already posted.
No, I'm not saying post it. I'm saying you hand it out to your clients.
Yes, it's at part of the onset. It's in with our technicians.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm one of your clients and I haven't received it.
You have not gotten any notifications when you've called in or when you've gone on our site for your orders.
Nope.
All right.
And I haven't gotten a paper that I'm asking Gary to give out to their clients about the law. And I know about the law, but I haven't gotten a copy from you guys. So I'm one of your clients, so that's not true on my side.
But we're not, okay, so I want to ask a question here. You're asking for a physical paperwork to be given to you individually stating that out. That's not in the bill, but why, if that's being notified, you have not been notified of the timelines? Because I know I've seen on our paperwork what we hand out, it's noted in their tickets, it's noted in the system, so I want to understand exactly, Stu, what you're asking for. You're asking for a separate flyer?
What I'm asking for is, I want to know how many people you tell every time you come there about the bill, about the law. How many people do you serve that know about the law?
Okay.
Because I have been going outside, and I talk to people and they say, we haven't been told about the law. We don't know about the law. We don't know how many days we're supposed to be served. So I want to know how many people you serve and how many people you give that paper to so they know about the law. Because I can tell you, people I spoke to don't know about the law.
So the other thing, look, we hand people a lot of paper.
I'm sorry.
We hand people a lot of paper on every order, and we try to go through it and make sure they understand it. And it is entirely possible that we've given people the notice and they haven't read it.
Yes,
So.
It is
So
possible.
I can only handle the distribution of the information. I can't handle the receipt of the information.
Right, I understand that. But I'm saying to you is, and I'm not putting you down, Diane, I'm not, because I'm one of your clients, all right? But I'm a client for many years, even through Hudson, and I haven't gotten no paperwork about the law. If I didn't know about the law, then I wouldn't know what to do with my chair. That's what I'm saying to you. Thank you for letting me ask the question.
Sue, have you had delay timelines on the law, though?
Not recently, but yes.
Sheldon, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry for raising my hand constantly. This raises a question about the content of what's being given. So I wanted to ask if the two companies could provide a copy of whatever it is. Well, it's also not just physically, but also the law says on the website. Could you provide to the council the language?
Sure, it's out there publicly. There will be. No.
Thank you.
May I ask one more question?
Mhm.
Alright, I'm gonna keep asking until I get the answer. I understand both of you guys work, and I know you have companies to be that you're responsible for. But you also have clients out here that don't know about the law, and when I go outside and tell them about the law, they say, we haven't heard about it. And I said, well, I am going to make sure you hear about it. And that's, I'm not saying you're not doing what you're doing, but I'm saying that I'm going to keep asking about the numbers, and I'm going to keep asking about making sure that people get information about the law so they know what's going on. Thank you.
And so, our intent is to comply. Our intent is to provide the information. So, I'm hoping that, next meeting, I'm able to tell you 100% of the people that come to us for service because as I read it, it was for new equipment as well. It's like anytime we do any interaction with the customer, we're supposed to notify them of that. So our intent was that when they buy a new chair, when they get service, they get notification of the law. That's what we're hoping to comply with.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay, it's 11:46, and we haven't even gotten to Gary and Diane's report yet, so I'd like to keep this agenda moving, please. Go ahead, Becky.
I was just going to add to that, it's our responsibility too to let people know about the law as well. So Gary and Diane have taken it off their shoulders a little bit too. We're also here. If you have to send someone our way, Sue, you definitely can send them to OHA as well. And we're more than happy to answer those questions and to use us as a resource as well, because that's what we're here for, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Maureen, go ahead.
You're on mute, I think. You can't hear her. There you go.
I'm so used to not having it muted. If you, Diane and Gary, if you could just let us know where on the website, that would be helpful. I know I don't see it on New Motion site. So once it's up, if you could just let us know, that'd be great.
Yeah, I was told it was on there. I'll find it. And let you know.
It could be. I'm not seeing it. I go to the Rocky Hill page and it's not on there, so that's where I would assume it would be.
That's where it's supposed to be. So I apologize. I will make sure it's there.
Okay, thanks.
Going back to the top of the agenda, there is approval of the minutes. If somebody would like to make a motion. Go ahead, Todd. Yeah.
Okay, I read through the minutes, there's a couple of updates. So, I guess I could make a motion if these couple of updates are included in it, that we could approve the minutes. The two updates are very simple, and the person who's doing the minute taking, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I understand it is tough. I just want to let you know that under attendance, unfortunately, you spelled my last name incorrectly. There's a T, S-T-O-N at the end of my last name. I do notice that you spelled it correctly when I made a motion to adjourn the last meeting. So I would just like you to make sure it's spelled correctly for attendance. The other thing that's in the minute or not in the minutes that what I thought was a pretty important point I brought up last month was the fact that I had a discussion with Gary and when we were talking about the time that it takes to get parts, and some things are out of their hands. And I made a mention that where New Motion may not be able to get some parts, but Spin Life, who is now owned by New Motion, can produce many parts in 2 to 3 days. And Gary, just came back saying, hey, listen, if Spin Life can get the part in 2 to 3 days, so can we. So I just want to make sure that those statements are reflected in the minutes before we go about approving them. And obviously, Gary, if you recall our discussion differently, then make another motion to modify them the way you believe it was said. And then I would, again, just move the motion to approve the minutes with those adjustments I just said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any need to change the minutes. I think I spoke correctly. I mean, Spin Life buys the same stuff from the same people we do. They don't have any preference or preferential treatment over getting parts than we do. Actually, we're the bigger company. We have more leverage with the manufacturers about getting parts. So that would be the only thing I would add.
Okay.
Sheldon, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one thing on the minutes, which is that it's nothing wrong, but where it says that Gary was talking about not having enough, the difficulty of hiring. It says that Gary responded that they're exploring all options and that it's been challenging to even get applicants for the position. What it doesn't say is that he said because of wages, because of the amount they're offering, and that I stated in response or suggested maybe then offering higher wages. And Gary responded that no, he couldn't do that. But I mean, that conversation did happen. So I'm wondering whether we could amend the minutes to include that.
Okay, additionally, there's a mention by Maryann in the comments that that Farah spoke about the Bill of Rights and that Maryann offered to assess that's missing from the minutes as well. So given these amendments, if someone wants to make a motion to approve the minutes with the discussed amendments.
So
This is Todd Johnston. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the updates that we discussed during this meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
I approve.
Okay. And all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Yes, Farah, go ahead.
Thank you. I know we've talked about this before, and I just want to very quickly, just for the sake of whoever's taking minutes, I do want to remind folks that minutes are not supposed to be a transcript. I do also want to say that for as long as this is not being recorded and made available to the public, I think that maybe being a little bit more nitpicky about the minutes makes a little bit more sense. So hopefully we can work together to get our recordings out and available to the public so that is it Alex who's taking our minutes, so that hopefully she can go back to more standard minute taking. Because, minutes are definitely supposed to be very surface level and not dictations. So support this, and also let's get those videos out there. Thanks, guys.
Go ahead, Becky.
I just wanted to reiterate that this meeting is being recorded by CT, and it also has a transcript to it. And we are also recording it here with Teams. So that is all still being, I know we're all looking for the future if CTN's not available, but at this moment, this meeting is being recorded and there is a full transcript of the meeting, and we are internally recording it. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the NSM report. Diane, I turn the floor over to you.
Thank you. I'm not going to read the report to y'all. I mean, I'd much rather have it open to questions or clarifications that is needed from the summary and the actual numbers. I know everyone got this last week. Hopefully people had a chance to review. Go ahead, Maureen.
okay, so my question is in your summary, and you stated that 35% of your, I want to clarify, it's an additional 35% of repairs are just adjustments that are non-pay adjustments. Is that correct?
We just take note of that, because I know a lot of times people thinking adjustments are repairs, like if you get new equipment, and that, again, for some of the noise, right? Gary talked about before, some of the things that are in between. So I've been doing that since day one, just saying, hey, how many things are we doing out there that's not necessarily repairs and adjustment? you get a new piece, things are, it's not necessarily repair being done on a piece of equipment. You're not changing it out something, you're not replacing something on it. It truly, truly is an adjustment.
Okay, and that number's that high?
Yeah.
It's 35%.
Yeah.
So that's like about 100, over
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
a month.
This is
And that's like, that's not an anomaly, that's pretty much what you're seeing all the time.
Yeah, that's, if you look at all the report summaries, they're all
Yeah.
in there. That's where I'm tracking it, just for understanding.
And, Gary, I'm just curious if that's about the same
Yeah,
to you?
That tracks about right. I don't even have that in my numbers, but it's the same bodies that are doing those. And I'll start reporting that out as well, because that's not captured in my repair numbers. We do modifications as a separate order type. So, it's not, service and repair goes through different, it's counted differently. So that would add, I can't say that. Maybe some of those are being caught in this total number.
That's the same thing, because modifications, we treat that as new equipment, Gary, too, because it's not, unless it's repairing it, we had to make a huge mod that still is both, then it'll be captured how our numbers are, just for your reference.
But it's still the same bodies that are out there that we're utilizing for service. Our seating techs and our service techs do those as well. So it's used to the same staff.
So, like a lateral needs to be tightened, that's that's an adjustment or whatever.
Correct.
My head, like right now, and I haven't reported it, but my headrest, the screw fell out. So now you have to get a screw. So is that a repair or?
That would be a
That's a
repair.
repair.
That's a repair.
Yeah.
That's a
So it's just really just
And-
anything where you're tightening or, okay.
Yeah, if you gotta have
Maureen,
a part or a
Bill's
piece.
trying to get a hold of you, just so you know.
Oh yeah, no, he, we have a repair set for Friday, but thank you.
John, you want me to go ahead or
Joe?
Diane, you go?
Joe looks
Joe
like
has
John,
to
looks
say-
like Joe.
Joe's got his
Oh.
hand up.
Oh, all right. Thanks, guys.
I don't know if Diane wanted to continue to run the show like she normally does when it's her turn.
No, I wanted to thank Diane. You have in your report the number of repairs that you've done in the month and the number of repairs that you get in every month. And that's not required, but that helps give us a little bit better of a picture of how many are coming in and how many are going in order to be able to take on that backlog. And that's what I was wanting to know is, like, when we started all this, you had a lot of backlog because of COVID and everything like that. But where are we as far as the backlog now? Where is that coming from? Because there's still a tremendous amount of numbers that are behind, and you're still right at capacity, pretty much doing the same amount of orders that are coming in every month. So how are you chipping away at that backlog?
I would have to look, Joe, and see what our backlog looks like, even in for the Connecticut market. I don't think it's that prevalent. So keep in mind, backlog also could be new equipment. We're not talking backlog on repairs. So I have to look at that and see exactly, but I could do that as a takeaway and see, because we did do quite a bit of stuff. So, and it does go ebbs and flows, right? So certain times of years you get more equipment, because especially in the fourth quarter of the year, because people are trying to use up their high deductibles and they met it and they're trying to get things, so they hold off on stuff. You'll get that. You'll get an influx, and fall starts, students go back, we see stuff that picks up. So it kind of ebbs and flows, and you'll see that a little bit of a drop off because it's summertime, because people take vacations or not as busy. Right after the new year, it might drop, so we try to pick up some of those things. So it's really cyclical in our business, which makes sense because it's insurance and what have you, but in timing of life. But I'd have to look and see what our actual backlog is for all products in Connecticut.
And I know that you've raised this point many times before about the time that the technicians are spending on not getting paid for the repairs. so we've spoke about that many a times in the past. I'm just curious how we can, add something to this to,
It's a universal. It's just how the reimbursement model structure is for this line of work that we're in. It's been years, and I know the state is financial binds, and I've spoken at the hearings on some of the stuff and things that are being proposed come down the pipeline. It's not going to get better, Joe. It's actually going in the opposite direction right now. What we're seeing more Medicaid cuts. We're seeing more rate reductions on the business that we're doing. So we've gotten more and more backing coming from our other side trying to function. So I don't know if there's anything you can do other than, talking to your congressmen and senators and saying, I don't think it's going to change because it starts from the top, and this is stuff that we're working on how the business is operating, how they look at our business, and how the services are there for the disabled community. I mean, it's unfortunate that you have less and less people doing this business for a reason.
the only thing that's good about those unprepared, services is that they are doing the preventive maintenance right in the, right in the home. So they come there in order to be able to fix the joystick, and then they tighten up arm pads and realize that they need new casters. So you're doing the preventive maintenance all one shot.
And that's what Massachusetts is doing right now. We get in, but most of those clients, we try to schedule them to come in when their chairs are functioning to prevent it, so they don't get those breakdowns. There's certain things that we're trying to do in other states. They've already adopted some of those models, but again, it's resources, right? The financials. Mass Health, who does that, did it with their ARPA funds. We didn't have any of that in Connecticut, and these are things that we're talking to CMS about, and so there's various things. I mean, there's multitudes of things that can be looked at, but it's going to take a lot of powerful motions and finances to do that, and right now it's not feasible in the state.
All right, thanks, John. If there's no more questions, I'll just turn the floor back over to Maureen.
Hey, so Gary, you're up.
All right, thank you. My report this month has some good stuff and some bad stuff. The bad stuff is our aggregate compliance is 92%. The good news is it's stable month over month. We're down 2 techs. The good news is we've hired another tech. They're in training right now and will be 5 weeks from being on the road. That's as quickly as we can get them up and running and have them try and be competent at doing their job. We don't want to send anybody into your home that can't do their job yet. So we're getting more diligent on our training. Our outstanding orders is up slightly. A lot of that is due to just seasonality. At this time of year, with kids going back to school and everything, we start to see more people trying to get their chairs fixed and ready, and things that happen through the summer. And people, trying to get their equipment up and going. And really, again, our tech capacity was off a little bit because of vacations and things like that. When we get this new tech up, that'll give us a total of 19 bodies and a tech capacity of 8.1, using my normal formula that Sheldon loves. But I think we're going the right direction. We still have one more opening for a tech. We found that when we have, 8 dedicated service techs and then all these other techs that we have that do some service, that gets us to the point where we're able to start to eat away at the any backlog. We did complete 375 orders in the month of July, and we created 355 new ones. So, our completion is outpacing our creation at the moment. I think as I said earlier, we're doing 24 to 25% of our repairs in the same visit, based on the fact that we're stocking 175 of the most common parts. And then, when I get to the forum, when I was talking about some of the noise, right now everybody that calls in is given the offer to go through a remote evaluation. And so if they have the ability to use their phone and take the picture, we route them right to one of our remote techs and they do the initial assessment. So our evaluation percentages are going to be skewed a little bit because sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, we then, again, we schedule a live evaluation with a service tech. So we've got to figure out how to capture some of that in the forum, or so, you know, or I'm just going to report it as I can report it, and you know, let you know we're doing everything we can to complete as many orders as quickly as we can. Other things, we still are pulling techs from other states as we need to. We do that a rotational thing from Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York right now to try and eat away at the backlogs. But that's really where we are. My hope is that we can get back up to 94-95% compliance in the August report, or for the August report. Questions? I know, you know, I've had a call or two during the month on some outstanding issues. We've been all over that. Jenny reached out to me with one. Where a customer had snapped their frame. We were able to get a loaner chair out and get them safe, and then we've got the part in.
I've got a loaner
It
chair
had to
over
be-
here.
Yeah. So, you know, look, you know, we try to provide the most appropriate loaner we can, and you know, there's so many permutations and combinations of chairs. It's impossible for us to, you know, provide the exact match. But if we can get something that's safe and provide some layer of mobility, you know, that's what we're trying to do.
Hey, Sheldon.
Yeah, so I want to talk about a part that it's in your report, but it's not really directly your responsibility, and that is the delays in getting parts when you order them. And as the law provides, and as you mentioned, you know, that's an out for the 10 business days, the clock is stopped while you're waiting for that. What worries me is that it is a big problem. I mean, the manufacturers are slow in getting you all the parts you need to do repairs. But I am concerned that the way the law is written, there's no incentive for you all to really be on their case, you know, and be hounding them about where's the part. And I don't want to put her on the spot, but you know, I've talked with Maureen about her recent experience waiting for a part, and you know, your folks have said to her, as I understand it, you know, that's not our department, you know, the fact that they're slow in producing the part, it's not our department. And as I understand it, the consequence was that Maureen was literally in bed for days, which is horrendous. I mean, it's horrendous for her, and it's also medically dangerous, and I understand she even had some issues from that. So I mean, maybe Maureen can tell her story if she's willing, but she doesn't have to. But I'm just wondering if there's something that has to be looked at in terms of incentivizing you guys to do the thing which we all have to do when we're trying to get something done. We have to, you know, bother them, annoy them a little bit, saying, hey, what's happening with my car repair or whatever, in order to address this part of the delay, which is not technically addressed in the law.
John, we do that. We beat up our manufacturers on a regular basis about getting, you know, because we are aiming to get our repair I-to-C times down and our E-to-D times, which is the way we measure our new deliveries. We want to be able to provide somebody their new chair within 30, 45 days. Now it's taking 90 days or 85 days on the average. You know, our repair times, we want to do the same thing. So we do leverage our material management people, our supply chain people are beating up the manufacturers every day. What's happening right now is our manufacturers in a lot of cases are moving their plants either offshore or to Mexico, and that's creating a lot of additional delays. And we need to continue to press them to stock more parts in the U.S. and make more things available to us more quickly. I promise you, we do not want to wait. Look, one thing nobody really has mentioned, we don't get paid until we provide service. We have no incentive to delay providing service. So as long as we can get everything we need and get it there as quickly as possible, that benefits us, it benefits the customer, and I've got no incentive to not serve somebody.
Yeah, so with my repair, and I do thank you, Gary, for all of your help. And if I did develop a sore on my foot, like 9 days into being bedbound. And if I had my repair was on a Friday, if I had to wait the weekend, I think it would have gotten really bad because it was growing pretty quickly. But I just know, and you expedited the part, which was, great. And I think I probably got good treatment because I'm on the council and I worry about people who don't have access. But when I had to keep calling to follow up, and there are times that no one seemed to know what was going on, where the part, like, yes, the part was overnighted yesterday. Oh no, we overnighted it too. So that kind of thing that makes me nervous. But we have talked about this issue with the manufacturer delays, and Diane, we talked about this last month. Gary and I we tried to arrange a conversation, a meeting, and maybe with Becky, but it just didn't happen. And that also because I have now wound care and PT and stuff like that, so I just couldn't arrange it. But it is a discussion I think we need to have about about manufacturers and the delays. And I know it's not part of the statute, but I see it now, having gone through this repair issue, that this is a big gap that we need to figure out how to close. And I also, the loaner chair, I have a loaner, it's been here for a month, hasn't gotten picked up, but maybe we need to have a discussion again about the preventive maintenance, backup chairs, loaner chairs, what they're doing in Massachusetts, I think Virginia, maybe we need to have those conversations again. And then there's just one more thing, and it was a conversation my sister had with one of your managers, Gary, and it was just the question about expediting, and they said, oh, we treat all repairs equally, and who do we bump? And I remember that line, like, from 3 years ago on the task force, like, who do we bump? And it's not about bumping someone. You have to get all repairs done within 10 business days, but I do think, and maybe we need to have a conversation, but I think that a hard down should always be the priority, because that's where injuries and bad things are going to happen, injuries or falls or whatever is going to happen with a hard down. So
we do prioritize hard
yeah, you
downs.
did. I know you did with me, and I just, like, maybe it was.
No, we do it all the time. It wasn't just for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just the conversation that she had with the manager, that no, we're not going to expedite. All repairs are equal, so we have to just
that's
go
not true.
as they
That's
come
not-
in. Okay, well that's.
No,
Yeah,
we
and
do.
the disconnect, there was disconnect between the people I talked to, and so and it just made me think of the and I've stayed out of this conversation, but the employees, like, maybe you don't, when there's staff is spread very thin, then there can be more disconnect. So that's just commentary. I know that we've talked that to death, but it's just a comment.
Yeah, we do. In fact, we pre-order all parts now. We don't wait for any authorization or anything. That they get,
And that's
once
good.
we do the evaluation, the parts are ordered, and so that's in itself has cut days out of that process. And we do expedite. If somebody's a hard down, it goes right into an expedite sort of category. And the thing with the manufacturers, expedite means they're going to ship it next day air when they manufacture it. So it could go 4 or 5 days or 6 days as they're building the part. For example, the the customer I was working with Jenny on, it was a custom frame, and the consumer snapped the metal frame of the chair. So it had to be completely rebuilt. It had to be welded, bent, painted, and then shipped. And so that took 12 days. And that's just their manufacturing process. Now the shipping was next day. I got it the next day once they shipped it. But when we say expedited, it's not that it's going to show up tomorrow guaranteed. It's that when they make the part, it's going to be shipped to us next day. And so that's the one thing we have to be very clear about in using the term expedited. You know, I can push the manufacturer. I push Sunrise Medical on that frame part. They probably would have taken 3 weeks to make it. And we got it in 6 or 7 days, or got it made in 6 or 7 days. So, you know, we're doing our best to, you know, we don't want anybody, you know, getting sores. We don't want anybody getting hurt. We want to make sure they're in as safe a product as we can provide. And so we do our best with our manufacturers. We deal with, I'm trying to think exactly how many, you know, probably 200 different manufacturers. Now, there are 5 major ones that this conversation can happen with, but there's going to be those outliers and ones that it's going to be tough to, you know, get to meet up to the standard. So, and, you know, but it is a conversation we have with the manufacturers, Sheldon. We don't accept, you know, the status quo as acceptable. We want them to send it as quickly as possible to us. And specifically in Diane's and my part, we feel like we have leverage over them to do that.
You know, one idea is that, I'm sorry, Suzanne, can I just follow?
No, that's okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Todd was talking about the minutes from last time and the discussion about Spin Life, which is your subsidiary. You said that, as he recounted it, that, you know, if Spin Life has it, you should be able to get it from Spin Life for the customer. Is there a way of, what's the way of operationalizing that? In other words, like, is there a delay? Like, if it's going to take more than so many days to order it through the normal means you would do it, then instead you will go to Spin Life, see if they have it. If they have it, get it from Spin Life. You know what I'm saying? What could be the system to make sure you can take advantage of anything that can be gotten at Spin Life?
Look, if it's anything that Spin Life has, because all their stuff is generic stuff, I mean, for the most part, you know, they don't order custom things. From that standpoint, Sheldon, it means we can certainly tie into their inventory systems and look at their inventory systems. But if it's something that they have in stock, I probably have it in stock in one of my other locations. And we already do that. When we look across our network of locations, and if there's something, for instance, cushion, Todd, maybe you might, I don't know, cushions are the most common thing that Spin Life might have. You know, if it's a Rojo cushion, I probably have it in one of my locations. And we do look internally to try and move stuff around. And we do have the ability to go to Spin Life, Sheldon, if we need to. We're on separate systems, and that's intentional. But we certainly can look there.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is whether there should be a more formal trigger for going to Spin Life.
Yeah, that's an easy thing. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we just send a simple request over to them to see if they have it. But frankly, if it's not something, if it's something they're ordering, we can certainly get it. At the same time, they would.
I guess the question is there stuff that they have in stock that you don't, and then take advantage of that?
There may be some things they do. I'll have to check. I don't know exactly what's been like stocks, but if it's something that one of our folks, our customers, is looking for, it's generally a complex item and possibly a cushion, and they do stock certain cushions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, this
Oh,
question.
wait, hold on,
sorry.
Susan. Todd, you had your hand up before. Do you?
Yeah,
Sorry, Susan.
I'm sorry. Thank you. just to go along with Sheldon's thought, just to automate the process, right? New Motion looks for the parts. They don't have it in any of their sites nationwide. Go to Spinlay and see if they've got it. If they don't, then you order it. It seems to me like a simple way to try to address getting the parts quicker.
I'm not saying we can't do that, Todd. I'm happy to look at how we can do that. So.
Because I've heard of examples. That's why I brought it up last month. I heard of examples of people waiting for parts, but then called Spinlight and got them. And it's like
I'd love to know about that. If you can give me those examples, I'd love to have more information to understand how and why that happened.
I certainly will. I'll have them attend next month. Thank you. Thank you for that offer. The other question I had, and it was brought up dealing with loaner chairs. Is Medicare or Medicaid being charged on a monthly basis to the loaner people that you get those chairs to? Is somebody paying for those?
There's a program under Medicare. I'd have to look at Connecticut Medicaid, but there's a HCPCS code for a rental wheelchair. And while somebody's chair is being repaired, we are able to bill for a monthly rental fee for that. It's under the Medicare statute. And I think it's KO824 is the building code. And there's also the ability to bill for components like electronic components if we have them, if they're in our loaner stock and we can do it, we're able to bill for it. It's not always that we bill. A lot of times we just provide the loaner for free, and a lot of payers won't pay for it.
And with CMS, it's only one month for the loaner chair. It's not,
Right.
It's not
Right.
routine. It's just 1 month rental, and it's
Okay.
and it's it.
I mean, I know that I'm a very unique situation because I've been trying to get a new wheelchair. Started the problem, but the ATP that started the whole process got the specs wrong, unfortunately. And when it was approved to be purchased, I said no. The specs are wrong. We cannot buy this chair. And so we had to go through the whole process again with the new ATP. And I've had this loaner chair for months now, but fortunately my old chair got fixed by friends of mine. And that loaner chair is just sitting in my house waiting for me to get my new wheelchair. I don't know, Gary, if there's any assistance you can do to get me that chair. But you mentioned, I don't know, 45 days to up to 90 days now for a new chair. We're talking about a chair that's over a year.
Did we
Maybe
have
look
some
that
issue
up.
with the funding? Was there some issue with getting documentation and funding? Because that takes a while too. That's part of the process.
Oh yeah. There's been a lot of that, and it's been back and forth with the therapy and HSC and the ATP at New Motion, and I know they're talking, and then it goes to my insurance company. You have to wait for pre-approval. Every time you send it, it's 30 days unless you ask for an expedited pre-approval, which is what I beat into poor Wendell's head last time he called me like 3 weeks ago, saying, if you get this from the therapist, what you're requesting, and just to tell you quickly, it's for a retractable docking pin. I've had it on this chair and I've used this chair for 8 years. I'm buying a new chair when I want a retractable docking pin. For some reason, the insurance is saying we're not going to pay for it. So the therapist has got to write in a note saying, listen, this is what he's used for 8 years. This is what he used to drive, go back and forth to work. Get this approved. I mean, it's like I can't even fight anymore because it's always all this back and forth, and it's that one part. It's the first time second month in this council. I know we're talking about repairs, but since you did mention about new chairs, just thought I should make you aware.
I'm happy to look into it, Todd. I'll look into it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I
So,
appreciate it.
just a time check, it's 12:25. Suzanne, you have your questions?
Yeah, I have a question for Diane. Is she still there?
Yeah, but I got like a minute here and I'm gonna have to hop off, guys. I apologize.
Can I ask you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, my chair's doing pretty good right now, but it's been broken, and I've asked National City Mobility if I could have a loaner. And they say they don't do loaners anymore. So, I only have one.
That's not correct. If someone told you they don't do loaners, that's false, and I need to know who'd you speak to?
Alright,
Because we give out loaners all the time.
because I get that all the time when I ask for a loaner, they say there's no loaners.
Well, are you looking for the exact specs of your loaner chair? Then that might be, but I need to make sure they're just not saying point blank no loaner.
Okay, when my chair breaks next, which it would be breaking because it is broken, I will let you know when I go for a loaner. Because that's what I keep getting when I call.
Yeah. What type of design do you have? Never mind, so I can look you up. I'll follow up with the branch manager.
I mean, I haven't asked recently, but I have asked.
And just, okay, really quickly, Gary, you mentioned that Ginny, either for you or Ginny, that a complaint had come in from DSS, is that correct?
Yeah, Jimmy reached out to me about a customer that it actually came in from two different sources, but Jenny reached out to me about a customer that had a broken frame, and we had jumped all over it and provided a loaner, and they're safe, and their chair should be delivered back either Friday or Monday.
So, Jenny, are you on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
So, I'm just curious how they how they contacted you.
It seems that the issue came in through as a constituent.
Okay.
It actually went in through our folks here who work with the legislators.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that asked who can assist with this wheelchair repair issue, and that's when I started trying to figure out what was needed, and I contacted Gary because the part was going to take too long, and that's when Gary said I will do my best to find a loaner in the meantime, because yes, the part is going to take a while to obtain from the manufacturer, and so thank God the member has a loaner for now, and Gary's working on obtaining the parts, but I really was grateful that Gary was able to assist with this situation. So thank you, Gary.
I appreciate your help too. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. It is 12:28. Gary had mentioned that he would be willing to work on revamping the reporting form. It is a hard task. I've tried to do it myself, and that's out of my wheelhouse. But if anyone would like to to work with him on that, I mean, if we could get someone right now, that would be great. And you could talk before the next meeting, or just think about it, or take a look at Excel or Google Sheets and what maybe we can do.
Yeah, I'd love Diane to be part of it. I don't want to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be more than happy to, share some input and just kick around some ideas with Gary.
Great.
I'm definitely not a mathematician by no means, but you get a couple heads in there and thoughts in there. I'd be more than happy to work with you.
Thank you, Joe.
Sheldon?
Yeah, I don't know if people want me, and also I'm not confident with spreadsheets and stuff, so, but I might be willing to do it too if they want someone else. I did want to note that, the information that both the companies provide, the extra information is really appreciated. The beyond the the form, the fill in the form, but, you know, the narrative there, you know, is, we don't want to lose that. That's really
No, we can
important.
keep that, we'll continue to provide those summaries. I just, you know, I just want to make sure the form is representing reality. And it may be the best we can do. I just think it's worth a conversation.
Thanks.
Folks, I gotta drop, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I do, thank you.
Okay, next meeting is September 16th. And I'll take a motion
Same
to
time?
adjourn. Yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Todd. Second.
I second.
Jenny? Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed. All right, see you. Thank you so much. I'll see you all next month.